everybody, welcome back to another exciting unboxing video where today we're here to check out the latest horror pack. Woo. All right, I don't know if this is I guess this is December horror pack. That would make sense. So as usual, if you want to check out horror pack, I have a link in the description below. I believe it's like $25 a month, and you're gonna get 4 awesome Blu-ray horror films, or you can choose their DVD pack, which I think have different movies than what we get here. And they're gonna send you 4 horror movies every month, which is a great thing to get. And one of them is going to be very much exclusive on the format at the time of release that you won't be able to get anywhere else. Often it's a lot of indie films, sometimes it's a really cool special edition. Now, one other thing I should let you know too, in case you're new here, I have a huge movie collection. Something like over 7,000 titles. That's not even a joke. So typically I have a lot of what they send to me, but I've gotten into this idea because we do movie reviews now. So they really just kind of trigger me into watching these movies I haven't watched in a while, and then I get to give you a fun review, and occasionally rope Mary into reviewing one with me. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open these up, we're gonna talk about them, show a little bit of the trailer so the companies can copyright claim this video and I won't make any money. But you know what you can do to subvert that? Wow, that was actually kind of smooth. We now have a join button. We have YouTube memberships in a few different tiers with more perks coming. Lots of extra cool stuff over there. We'll probably do some movie watch-alongs at some point, things like that. And of course, we also have a Discord server. Now that's free. You can jump over to the Discord server, although there's special rooms for YouTube members and Patreon peeps we'll get to. But you want to check out the Discord, we got a horror section over there if you want to talk about cool horror movies and things like that as well. And of course, you can join Patreon. You can go to patreon.com and look up TheEricButts. Use the link in the description below. $1 a month, movie review every week, video game Let's Plays every week, vlog every week, video every day for $1 a month, as little as that, plus more Discord perks. And of course, we have a merch shelf, merchandise store, linked in the description below. Lots of cool designs coming throughout the year. All right, all that said and done, cool. I'm excited to see what movies we get. I'm in the mood to go maybe make some margaritas and watch something with Mary tonight. So hopefully we got something cool in here that she'll watch with me. There's usually at least one in each of these packages that she's willing to watch with me. So I'm gonna pull out this first pack and hopefully it's not the horror pack exclusive. It is not, I can tell from the spine. And first movie we get today, ooh, yeah, this is definitely the December pack. Mother Krampus. I do not have this one. I have never heard of this one. Okay. All right, not a whole lot going on in the packaging. You'd almost think the horror pack people made the packaging. I'm sorry. Horror pack people, I love you. And by the way, everybody, I owe everybody an apology. I got so busy in the holidays with my emails, I missed out. They were offering me to do a giveaway of a horror pack, and I just totally missed out. And I feel horrible about that. So horror pack people, if you're listening, I'm willing in the future. I just got overwhelmed this year. But anyways, let's jump into this. Let me show you. Boom! We got Mother Krampus. The naughty list just got deadly. Show you the back of this a little bit. I probably should have shown you before. Oh, there's not a lot to read here. So I am going to have to stretch to talk about it for the trailer. But you know what I've started doing? I'll show you the whole trailer. I do link to all the trailers, by the way, in the little gray card. So anyways, here we go. Based on the myth of Frau Perchta, yeah, sure. Frau Perchta, a witch that comes on the 12 days of Christmas, taking children each night. I've seen that porn. Oh, no, that was a really awful joke. I'm full of awful jokes. So this is directed by James Klaus. Screenplay, Scott Jeffrey. See, Claire Maria Fox is in it. Don't know her. Tony Manners, Faye Goodwin, Tara McGrowan, Michelle Archer. Okay, I don't recognize anybody in here. I don't recognize anybody in the credit block. I don't recognize the companies. Cinedigm, ITN. All right, not rated, 94 minutes, widescreen version. I don't know, it could be cool, it could be a total miss. I have no idea. The fact that I've never heard about it doesn't mean it's gonna be bad, but it certainly makes that a little more likely because I do tend to stay up on these things, particularly with movie trailers and stuff, and particularly in pandemic mode because no big things have been coming out. So other than, no, bad Eric. See, I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning how to not be pervy all the time. I mean, you know, I can take 5 minutes off here and there. But, yeah, okay. So, I mean, I like Krampus movies in general. I love, Michael, now I'm just totally blanking on his name. Doherty, I think. Trick or Treat and Godzilla King of the Monsters. And Krampus. I love that version of Krampus, and I would love to see more of that. Other Krampuses can be totally hit or miss, and this should be kind of interesting. Picture on the back of the box looks neat, so I'm cool with that. All right, that's probably enough time for the trailer, or at least enough of the trailer. So let's jump in here. I think now I have to kind of peek onto the spines just to make sure I don't pull. Okay, I always gotta flip it over. All right, they package these pretty consistently. I can pretty much do that without ever looking. Now, I didn't peek at what any of the movies are. I just looked for the little number to tell me, so I pulled the exclusive out at the end. All right, so next up we get, ooh, another one I don't have, or at least don't know that. Oh, is this a horror pack release? Wait, oh wow. Are we, so this is, wow, this is not the exclusive, but this is apparently a horror pack exclusive. I have seen this movie. I don't think I own it. I certainly don't own this version. So we have Z. This was on Shudder, and that's where I watched it, and it was actually really good. I really liked this one, so, okay. Kind of excited to check it out again. But yeah, if I do have it, I do not have it with that cover art, which I really like. I think that's really cool. And again, I should have shown you the back first, but you can see that it has a horror pack label, but it does not have a number. And it even says horror pack down here, you'll see in a minute. But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of this one. I don't remember how much I liked it, but I know I definitely liked it. And it's a loaded disc too. There's a good amount of stuff on here. All right, well, let me tell you about it. Goosebumps-inducing horror, says Bloody Disgusting. When Beth's son brings home an imaginary friend named Z, the letter Z, or Zeta, or Zed, she becomes concerned that he is falling too deep into a world of make-believe. He starts to display extremely destructive behavior, blaming Z for all of his actions. But after he gets kicked out of school, Beth is forced to find a solution. She medicates her son, making him unable to see his imaginary companion. But now Beth sees Z, or Zed, or Zeta, and he wants to be her friend. As I'm reading this, more and more of this movie came back to me. There's a particular, like, just really shocking moment in this. Not like horrifying shocking per se, like it's so gruesome or just terrifying, but more like comes out of the blue, like, whoa, 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 what just happened? That is really stand out. I think the story goes in a very interesting place, if I recall. But of course, we'll rewatch it and we'll see from there. Bonus features include a director's commentary, nice, behind the scenes, deleted scenes, featurettes, the creepy kid, the scare, train day, music breakdown. Then we get a VFX reel, a gag reel, and a trailer. That is awesome. 83 minutes. It is rated 18A, but I do not see an American rating. That's fine. And yeah, just real quick while I'm thinking about it too, I think the code for Shudder still works. If you want to check out Shudder, which is like Netflix, but all horror movies. So if you're a fan of these videos, you're probably going to be a fan of Shudder. It's a very cheap subscription when you go there, but if you want to try it out for 30 days for free and you've never used it before, you can use the code SHUTIN. SHUTIN, all one word, all caps. Get yourself 30 days of Shudder and watch all kinds of originals, exclusives, old movies, new movies, all the in-between movies, and especially check out The Last Drive-In with my man Joe Bob Briggs and Darcy the Male Girl and John Brennan and Yuki and everybody over there. It's such a good time. Well, that's really cool, and it's really interesting that Horror Pack is releasing that. And honestly, I could stop talking about it there, but now I want to check my movie app because I feel like I did buy a version of this, but I don't know for sure. So I'm using My Movies, by the way. My Movies Pro is my tracking app. Z, I guess I just put in the letter Z. Oh boy, that's a hard movie to search. Okay, so far I got a lot of Z's. It's every Z title. I guess searching Z doesn't really help. I do have this, but I don't have that version. So that's really interesting. And as a physical collector, I love variants. I love variant cover art. So to have this alternate version is pretty nice. All right, I'm excited about that. Are you excited about that? I don't know. You'll have to let me know in the comments or on the horror section of the Eric Butts Discord. All right, so let's check out one more movie. So we're 1.5 out of 2 so far in terms of what I do or don't own. So let's see what we get here. It's probably something I've got. It's gotta be, right? Boom. Oh, come on. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'll explain when we get to it. But this is a great movie. I love this movie. We have The Conjuring 2. Apparently, well, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let me show this off. That'll give me something to talk about while we get in here. It was only recently that I actually watched the entire Conjuring universe. And speaking of Patreon, if you want, you can go over to Patreon. I have reviews for every one of the movies and their spin-offs. So you can actually hear my original thoughts there. But now you're gonna get my newer thoughts. So let's actually read this. Absolutely terrifying, says Edward Douglas of the New York Daily News. Reprising their roles from The Conjuring, Oscar nominee Vera Farmiga, I don't know how to pronounce it, and Patrick Wilson star as Lorraine and Ed Warren, who help a single mother raising 4 children alone in a house plagued by malicious spirits. Known as England's Amityville, the Enfield haunting was the most documented case in paranormal history, and also very, very, very debunked. Discover the truth behind the event that shocked the world. Special features include the Enfield poltergeist living the horror. Explore the true story from the people who experienced it. Crafting The Conjuring 2, an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at how the scares were created. Cast and crew members talk about how they raised the bar for the sequel. Deleted scenes and more. Rated R, 134 minutes. All right, so here's why I was like, really? Because if you've watched these videos lately, and it was like maybe at this point 6 months ago that I watched this entire series, so it's all still fairly fresh in my mind. I like revisiting movies at least with a year's distance, usually a couple of years distance, so I can really truly forget them and re-experience them. But it's kind of funny, they must have had some bulk deal on the Conjuring universe discs, because the last few boxes, they've sent like Annabelle, then the Conjuring, so I feel like, okay, I guess I can expect a couple more Annabelles and maybe the Curse of La Llorona and the Nun and all that stuff coming soon. So I'm kind of just bummed that it's like, oh, I gotta watch that again already. I loved it, but I still very much remember it. So I guess you'll get that. You know, actually, matter of fact, I'm still working on the reviews for the last month's horror pack with The Conjuring. The Conjuring's the one last one I haven't watched yet for my reviews, mostly because I was just trying to put some more distance so I can enjoy it. Plus, it's a movie I can't play too quiet at night because you really need that loud, jump scary sounds for it to work. Because again, James Wan, master of jump scares, like really earned, well done, kick-ass jump scares. So again, excited to have it. But I already have it. I kind of figured I would, but hey, it's an excuse to go back and watch the movie, but it kind of takes away both my funs because I already have it and I've watched it recently. That's just a problem with me though, so I can't relate. It's not a fault of the box. All right, but that's probably good for that. So let's check out what the last movie is. And the horror pack exclusive, number 54, I think I saw. We has, this looks like potential. I do not know this movie, but I like this cover. Is that? Wait a minute. No, okay. And it is 54. I'm gonna peek at the back of the art. Why can't you design a nice back of a box? Or who does this? I'm telling you, I'll do you 1 or 2 for free. Like, seriously. Anyways, let me show this off to you. So I do like the front of this. That looks like David Arquette and, Glenn from Walking Dead, I just blanked on his name, but they had a baby. This does look very, very bloody. It's called a Cadaver Christmas, in case I didn't actually say that out loud. Stephen Yeun. Sorry, it just took me a minute. 54, and then yeah, look, I mean, it's not the worst I've seen them do. It does have some nice layout going on, using the big face in that red filter. That's a perk. But I mean, there's like no real information back here. Running time, a rating, features, anything. There's like nothing. So anyways, let's taco about it. A Cadaver Christmas delivers dark holiday laughs, says Fangoria. Which is cool. Fango's cool. I'm a big old Fango guy. I've collected the Fango since I could read. When a dark force takes over the morgue during the Christmas holiday, a ragtag band of heroes has to save humanity from the growing army of Walking Dead. Maybe it is Stephen Yeun. No, I'm just kidding. So that's all it really says. God bless you. God bless us, everyone. I don't know. Maybe I need to see the trailer, and then maybe this will be funny looking. Maybe it's like horror comedy. It does look like it's very gruesome. I hope it's horror comedy because as I'm now thinking about what movies we have here, I'm not sure Mary would want to see any of these, and I kind of like having her in at least one review each month, so we'll see if that actually happens or not. But I don't know. Let me see. You know what? I tell you what. Here's what we can do while we're watching, hopefully, a little bit of the trailer. Let me actually pop over to IMDb and see if we can get any extra information about this. Cadaver Christmas. This is okay. It looks like it's a 2011 film, so that's already popping up. All right, let me jump on the IMDb here and get us some actual information about this film. I guess we're done with that camera too. All right, so it's an 85-minute. It is a comedy horror, and they have comedy listed before horror. There is a trailer on here, so okay. United by we have a full summary here, so I'm going to read this too. United by terrifying and bizarre circumstances, the janitor, the drunk, the bartender, the cop, his perp, and the student security guard must fight to undo the professor's work. A dark force is at work in the Cadaver Lab this Christmas, and this unconventional band of heroes are the only hope the world has against an army of living corpses that are quickly recruiting new members. The undead have been given the gift of life, and it's up to the janitor to take it back. And that's posted by Anonymous. All right, no surprise, not gonna recognize anybody in the cast. That's fine. That's not a knock against it or anything. So just kind of scrolling through, seeing what we got going on there. The director is Joe Zarul. I do not know them. Let me click on their name, see if they've done anything else. We do have a bit of a filmography here. 5 directing credits. The Newscaster, Cheese Fries, Redhead. Those are all shorts. A Cadaver Christmas, and well, another short. So, okay, not too prolific. And since that movie is from 2011, all right. Looks like he's doing some was doing some crowdfunding. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. That could be hit or miss. You never know. That's probably enough of that. But there you go. That is this month's horror pack. I'm gonna say that I can already tell you, I'm almost positive The Conjuring 2 is the strongest film in here as far as good films. Z is excellent though, don't sleep on Z, even if you just go grab Shudder to get it. These two are definitely the wild cards. Cadaver Christmas could be fun. Mother Krampus could be fun. I got a bad feeling about this, though, to mix my genres a little bit. But still, I'm excited to get into them. You're gonna find out what I think right now. So Mother Krampus, it's like 3:14 in the morning. I gotta be a little bit quiet, but if you happen to be involved with this, you might not want to watch this. I'm hopefully not going to shit all over it, but this was not good. This was not good. It almost tricks you into thinking it's going to be okay at the beginning because it's semi-competent in its cinematography, if not maybe lacking in budget and lacking in polish. But it's mostly they just had a pretty good camera, I think, and some idea of lighting. Sound is often bad in here, like especially with the kids. They seem to forget to point the microphone at the kids anytime they talk. The kids are terrible actors. The rest of the actors are okay. It's boring. It's tedious. It's tonally inept and just all over the place. Like, is it trying to be scary? Because it's not. Is it trying to be like goofy while you have serious melodrama? It's not achieving that. I will say, even though it's the most cliched script in the world, there's a little bit of extra twisty turniness at the end that is almost interesting, but maybe more so just because it was so damn boring getting there. Like, this is one of those movies that gets annoying. Like, it's not terrible. I've seen far worse, but it's not good. And it's just like, come on, be over already. I'm so done with it. Possibly the only saving grace here is that I was making myself giggle because the really awful effects in this movie, and the character design, which is completely different from the poster art and the DVD menu. I'm assuming the poster art was the same, where Mother Krampus is dressed in a Santa outfit, which is not a thing at all in here. Really, she looks like a cosplay Emperor Palpatine. So I was laughing with that. I was throwing out Palpatine lines when she would kill people. Some other things, man. Not only is the drama bad, the kids are bad. There's so many unresolved setups in here. Like, they set up little, oh, she draws this symbol, or oh, hey, this kid was thrown in a bag, or things like that. dumb. Directorial style is completely lacking, and I think it attempts it at one point with a father driving home. And my God, this father's reaction to his dead daughter is very much this one reaction is very much almost as bad as the Troll 2. Oh my God, but nowhere near as legendary. Like, it's really just ridiculous. It's laughable. And there's like a body display, like one time, like this is not something that happens through the movie, like twice there's like deaths meant to be on display. And this one time there's this person that's like kind of splayed out, like, but like on the second story, and there's almost like this giant freaking pillar under her that is not part of the structure or the house. It's like, did this killer build that? What the fuck? They set up with a way too long and cheesily VO'd opening text crawl, all this stuff in history that didn't play into the movie really at all. So that's kind of weird and awkward. The ending, there's like an ending tag that's just like, oh my God, is this movie still going? Please be over. The main family, I gotta complain about that too, and I'm not trying to be ageist here. The mom is an attractive lady, but I mean, she looks probably more in my age range or something, maybe in the 40s, late 30s. But then the dad, when he shows up, that dude looks like he's barely out of his 20s. And with the daughter looking like she's like 12 or 13, it's like, that dude ain't old enough to have kids. So that was really, really weird and awkward. And I'm sorry, this is mildly spoilery, but it's not really it's pretty early in the movie, it's revealed. But, the dad has the parents are split up and he's with a new lady. I did like his new girlfriend. Not necessarily because the character was good, but because honestly I thought she was kind of cute. She reminds me of a young Keira Knightley with a touch of Natalie Portman in there. So I was rooting for her. It's the only person in the whole movie I was rooting for, and it was for purely a physical attraction reasons. So I mean, what the fuck? I kind of went into this expecting this not to be great, so it wasn't like I was expecting much from this, but oof. And man, the effects are pretty bad. And there's this whole thing with briefly, they set things up and barely use them. Like this whole thing later in the movie, they're like, oh, here, use these Christmas lights, because he's kept these weapons wrapped in Christmas lights because it's supposed to ward her off or something. Though earlier there's a death where she's literally like stitching Christmas lights into somebody. So it's like, what? Like, know your own rules, know your own logic. And again, the staging, the directing in this is awful because just the staging of things makes no sense. Like the timing of elements. How long is the mom with the daughter in the car hanging out smoking a cigarette while the grandpa's in the church talking to everybody and then she's like, okay, we're leaving, daughter. And then they end up driving the grandpa home, but she didn't know the grandpa was about to die. It's like so confusing in that regard. And then you get terrible directing, staging mistakes, like someone swings an axe and somebody grabs the axe and does that with the axe, but apparently in close up you see the person hit the floor. Like, how? What? Okay, budgetary, but still come up with a better way to do it. Think through the directing. And again, I know I've been there. You got to change things on the fly sometimes, but it's not that it's once or twice. It's a lot in this movie like that. It's a lot. The locations are okay. I mean, it has a little bit of production value in that, but again, I think the effects are pretty awful. I can't say I'd ever watch this again, and it's not even like good bad enough to be drunken movie night. There's hints that it almost could be, like with some of the deaths. It's almost like they needed to have more fun with the horror murderous part of it and get more gruesome and more cheesy with it, because it almost goes into that territory of like a Jack Frost or something where it's like all the heroic characters are really playing things pretty straight and serious and melodramatic while the killer's having goofy good time. This killer goes in and out of that. There's a cute Beerus kitty. Yeah, this is not something I would have been happy to have bought on my own. I'm not entirely happy it's in a horror pack because I did technically still buy it. But hey, it's something I can mark off my list. This director's only made 2 movies. This is from 2017. As a director, he's only made 2 movies. The other movie, also from 2017. Yeah, I didn't... And it did. It often felt like a Lifetime movie. But yeah, it was just annoying. Just like, please be over, movie. Please be over. But it is now, and now I'm done talking about it, so I don't have to worry about this one really ever again, except to sit through watching the trailer to capture for the unboxing portion of this video. All right, that's my thoughts on Mother Krampus. Okay, so Z. I gave myself a quarantine haircut. I guess you already saw that. Anyways, so I opened up the Z pack version, or the horror pack version. It's late, y'all. It's like super late. Because this version has special features, which I showed you in the thing. I did actually own this. I own the Shutter slipcase version. And it does not list special features. I don't know if it has any. Doesn't make a difference. I'm keeping both versions, alternate cover art. And it's a really, really good movie. If I have any negatives, they're mostly just like super minor, like they aren't that big a deal, just like little things I picked up the second time, but I also picked up some real cool things the second time. It's definitely one of those movies where knowing how it goes, where it ends up, can make rewatches more enjoyable because you kind of see some groundwork being laid that you maybe didn't pick up the first time around. So that's really nice. The super shocking moment I talked about, non-spoilery in the actual unboxing, still just as shocking, still catches me off guard. I will say you don't see a whole lot of Z necessarily, but that little tiny bit you kind of do is a little on reviewing, but only because, I'm like, oh, it just stood out a little bit more. But overall, I love the story and the structure of this one. And I love that it definitely goes in a lesser used direction. But then when it does go in that, it goes in some very interesting, unique places with that as well. It does get more quiet as the movie goes on and things kind of go from a larger scale to a smaller scale. Overall, cinematography looks good. Performances are really good. The kid performances are really good. There's definitely some very creepy imagery here. There's definitely some good sound design going on, particularly in surround sound, some good jumps and thuds and, whipping your head back and forth. And some other really good jump scares and things like that as well. But, kind of earned. We're not talking brilliant James Wan Conjuring level, but earned for what the movie is. It's definitely worth checking out over and over again. The ending is satisfying. There's a lot of elements that come together really interestingly. There is kind of an ending and then an ending, kind of. It's a horror film. There's sequel bait. I don't know if I needed the additional ending. I think this might have been stronger without that. But again, super minor nitpick. It doesn't ruin this at all. It's still an incredibly enjoyable film. Again, really tight 83 minutes, so it just flies by. Even though this is the kind of movie that could drag this stuff out, it doesn't really do that. And again, I think even if you're not totally in love with the beginning section of it, that last 20 minutes or so, I think is really interesting and something kind of different. And it's definitely more of a cerebral film. And maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but because it's not so much that it requires you to think so much as it's more subtle, and there's more. It doesn't have to be subtle, but if you look at the subtleties, there's a lot more going on in this. There's a lot more you can take from this, a lot more real world horror allegory than might be apparent initially. And the more you dig into that, the more you think about it, the more you think about characters and headspace and what's really going on. That gets even deeper and deeper and more interesting. And again, something that just makes this a really good movie and one I would absolutely recommend. And I'm glad I have these copies. And even though my dad's not huge into movies like this, I think this is one even he would really dig. So I'm gonna have to throw it by him and be like, here you go, watch this one. Open the other one, tell me if there's special features. But you know what, I'm making this, literally this video comes out in like 10 hours from now, and I still have to finish it with this review. So I'm sorry I'm not going to tell you much more, but it's a great movie. It's not the greatest of the great, but if you got Shudder, definitely check it out, or go pick up a disc, rent it, whatever. It's absolutely worth your 83 minutes for sure. Okay. The Conjuring 2. That's my review. See ya. I'm just kidding. So I just rewatched The Conjuring 2. It's been 6-ish months since I've seen it. I went ahead and opened up the horror pack version because let's see if I can find an angle where you can see this. Yeah, right there behind the R, between the U, you can kind of see there's a big kind of gash. So it's like, screw it, I'll take the better one, go sell that. Plus now I have an extra code, so maybe I'll give it away in my Discord. But yeah, Conjuring 2, fantastic. Conjuring movies are freaking incredible, man. There are still some scares. I knew they were coming. I remember them very, very vividly. They still scared the absolute bejesus out of me. Still pulling like the blanket up over my face like I'm a little kid, jumping. One thing I even like screamed out loud at, like legit, like it made me scream, like jump scream. So such a good time. James Wan is a freaking master. The Crooked Man is a nice touch. I love how they do they use a different shutter speed to give it almost a stop motion-y jitter whenever that character's around is really cool. Now one thing, and this is not necessarily a spoiler for the movie, but it's a spoiler for the real life. This is based on true stories. And when I first watched this, I didn't know any of this. I learned this after my first viewing, so it greatly changes my perception of the second viewing. So the truth of this haunting, if you don't want to know, you might want to plug your ears. I'll move my finger away when I stop saying anything you might not want to hear. Ready? The truth of this is this was absolutely debunked. The little girl claimed, she fessed up to faking it and faking voices and all that stuff. So that gives me a very different perspective watching this. It doesn't ruin the movie, but it does kind of take away from it a little bit because it's all bullshit. And I just keep looking at the little girl and like, what the fuck, you liar. Even though in this universe, it's very real. So there you go. It's no more about the actual real life story. It's more about the movie. Music is great. The hint of Annabelle there is great. The tie-in, not the tie-in with the nun. I guess the nun was kind of a tie-in here. The Amityville stuff is fantastic at the beginning. I remember the Amityville Horror, the film, and the basic story and premise of that. But now it kind of makes me want to go look and see in the numerous Amityville sequels, were any of them actually about the Warrens exploring that whole event like the weeks after. Because that would be very fascinating, actually, and something I would like to check out. Again, sound design is spectacular in here, beat for beat. Ed and Lorraine Warren, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, as usual, are absolutely fantastic and really the anchor of this movie. And when they're not in the movie suffers a little bit, just a little bit. Everybody else is still fantastic, but they certainly bring that A-lister kind of charisma that really just keeps you alert and glued to the screen. The ending of it I love as well because he's heavily homaging and influenced by Evil Dead and Poltergeist. That's absolutely incredibly apparent, and I love it. There's a shot that's straight, the lighting and everything, straight out of the Evil Dead. And Poltergeist, especially with all the rain outside and the screaming, just really, really, really cool. I don't know how I feel about the resolution, I'm not gonna spoil it, but how they resolve things, like the specifics of how that works, because obviously we know we're getting a third one. I'm assuming it's all gonna tie in. They haven't really done anything, but the way that works, the solution, if you will, to what's going on is a little light. Maybe that's based in actual theology or something, but it's like, that seemed kind of easy. Also, another Evil Dead reference is her like scratching up her Bible when she's having that one vision. And that one vision, man, where she's in like the office with the painting of the nun and like the shadow across the wall and how all that pans out. Oh my God. The jump where I screamed, again, I can say this without spoiling, but just the kid's tent in the fire truck. That's the one that legit made me not only just jump, but like actually scream out loud. I'm so glad I've watched this universe. Like I said, my first original thoughts for every one of these movies I did on Patreon about 6 months ago, shortly after we moved into this house, but in that first month before Mary moved in. But it's kind of actually fun to revisit these now with new interpretations and my expectations being aligned with what they should be because I know what I'm looking for. Not that I really had a problem with these films, especially the Conjuring films before, because they are just absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Great time, great movie, and now I get to be really excited for the new third one, which apparently we're getting on HBO Max even this year, so I get to watch it right at home. Now, I'm a big stickler for theaters these days. I love seeing movies on the big screen when I can. Obviously, current events can't really even go to theaters, but even with that said, I always regretted I never got to see the horror movies in theaters for two reasons. One, Mary doesn't really do them, and I don't really want to go if I don't go with her. Just my own personal taste. Two, I hate watching horror as a communal experience because people jump and scare and then they laugh and lose the tension. It's like, I don't want to lose the tension. I want to keep that tension. I want to be terrified. So I love watching. I think horror really works best like legit horror that's trying to scare you, really works best when you watch it basically by yourself, or at least with a partner that enjoys it and will just not say anything. Like if Mary was into it, that would be the case, but she's not, and that's totally fine. I get really terrified on my own, which is nice and fun. But yeah, no surprise. I knew it going in, I know it going out, just reaffirmed. Conjuring 2 is amazing, probably my favorite. I think I like it a little bit more than Conjuring 1, just a little bit of a bigger story, you know, they got some kind of bigger effects going on, and again, with the ending having all that Evil Dead and Poltergeist influence, just thoroughly in love with it. And starting off with the Amityville and everything, so yeah, it's a great movie. I'm glad to have a version that doesn't have a hole punched in the front, so there's that too. All right, I don't know what order these reviews come in. I probably have to give another review, and it's 1:16 a.m., so now I'm gonna go watch Mother Krampus. Or as Mary is now put in my head, thinking of it as like this TV censored version of Samuel L. Jackson, Mother Krampus. It's a really awful Samuel L. Jackson. All right, so that's my thoughts. Confused kitty.
There's no blankie in the lap.
Hi, bud.
He's going like,
whoop. So we just watched a Cadaver Christmas. I love starting the reviews like that. Oh, he's over there where I could pet him, but I need this arm for the camera. Are you coming back, buddy? No, Mary put the blanket out.
It's a blanket.
Sorry for the butthole.
They have to have, the kitties have to have purple blankie.
Yeah.
Or purple robe.
Yeah, that's okay. But anyway, so a Cadaver Christmas. Whoo! Mary's been drinking. I've been drinking.
I have.
They don't. Oh God.
You've only been through like one drink.
Yeah, I poured like a double and a half. So.
But you also had like 3 beers.
Well, no, I had 2. Well, 2. It's all. So Cadaver Christmas. So this is the horror pack exclusive. This is like the low budget indie film of the batch. You know what? It was fucking great.
It was. Okay, so I'm sitting here going like, okay, Eric, you're going to need to show me a trailer just to see.
Because as you know from this horror pack, nothing in here really reeked of, oh, Mary would like this one. I was like, if anything, maybe this one. And we were kind of unsure.
And I looked at the box, and the box kind of had an Evil Dead vibe to it. And I'm like, show me a trailer. And he showed me the trailer. I'm like, I can watch that. Yeah,
she was kind of like, yeah, it's something.
But there was a debate as to whether or not it was going to be so bad it's good or just bad.
And it's so bad it's great. I'm going to put it in that category. It's not so bad it's good. It's so bad it's great.
In all honesty, it feels like it was crafted specifically to fall into that it's so bad it's great.
And it was, and in a way, I wouldn't even really say it's so bad because it's not really bad. It's just low budget, and it's more of a comedy with some horror to it. It's really more of a splat stick, if you would.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it that.
My best description of this movie is it's Evil Dead meets Reanimator if Squeak from Basketball was your Ashley Williams.
That's a mouthful.
With a touch of Shaun of the Dead. The only complaint I have about this, and this is a super minor nitpick, I don't really care, and it's only because we mentioned it early, so this is my only negative, I'm just getting it out of the way. They did that like kind of film grain filter over it, and for the most part it looks great, but it, at least early in the movie, felt a little overused.
There are places where it definitely feels heavy-handed.
But that's it. Everything else is great. The writing in here is sharp and quick-witted. The performances are adorable and lovable, and you actually give a crap about all these characters, even the ones you aren't supposed to. We were laughing our asses off out loud at so much stuff. The gore is kind of cheap and cheesy. I mean, but not like awful. It's good
for red corn syrup gore.
Yeah, and like, you know, mannequin head on a dummy. But it works. Like, and it fits the charm of this. And it was just so much fun. The cinematography's great. The music's great.
There's various homages to at least Evil Dead.
Well, that's what I said. There's definitely Evil Dead in here. There's definitely Reanimator in here. Shaun of the Dead in here. I even got a hint of the Dead Pit. For those of you that know that one, it's a little bit more obscure. If you're watching Horror Pack, it may not be that obscure. But yeah, man. And again, I don't really want to do spoilers here because I do actually, I think we both fully recommend you watch this.
Yeah.
This would have been like great drunken movie night fodder. Except I'm glad we didn't watch it at Drunken Movie Night because I would have talked all over it and I wouldn't have, instead of her talking all over it.
Oh, bitch, please.
I did have the thought at one point tonight. It's like, oh, this is what she feels like during Drunken Movie Night. She's trying to hear the lines and I won't shut up.
There you go. Karma, bitch. Karma.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It is blood soaked. If you're looking for a lot of blood and a lot of gore, it's in here, but it's not like gory gore. It's not like, Savini goes wild or something.
It's Cara blood syrup.
But good. Like it doesn't read as cheap or whatever. There's some great comedy to this. Well, I mean, but Mary, you got to remember, I'm coming from a place of I've seen cheap. This isn't from a place of I've seen blood. Right. But
hi, welcome to being female.
Well, yeah, you're talking about real. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, there you go. But no. I mean, like the pace is great. It goes. Watch all the credits all the way to the end. That's great. They have the Delta. Like that's the car they're driving. She picked that up.
I'm not entirely sure it was a Delta, but it was very close to it.
It wouldn't have registered with me until she pointed it out. And then when she pointed it out, every time there's any shot of the car, I'm like, yeah, I've owned like 20 versions of Evil Dead. That's what that car is. Speaking of owning 20 versions of Evil Dead, we did have to pause at one point because she saw an Evil Dead poster in the background and was trying to argue with me if that was an Evil Dead poster. And I'm like, no, this is one area.
It's missing some elements from the actual Evil Dead poster.
It was in the background and blurred. She's looking for these details. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up because I was right. She will not admit it, but I was right. What are you doing? What are you looking up? We're doing this review.
I'm actually looking at IMDb real quick. Just
all right.
Keep talking.
Well, the director, this is
his
only feature. He's done like 3 shorts since. This was 2011. His last short was 2016. This was expanded from a 48-hour film project in 2006, which is actually really impressive because I'm not trying to be a hater on 48-hour Film Fest, but I know a lot of friends you're an actor in one. That's not a knock, but I've had a lot of filmmaker friends that have done them. They've always tried to get me to do them. And it's just not for me. It's like if I'm going to tell a story, I want to craft a story and tell it. But this is the first time I saw something that I'm like, yeah, okay, I can get behind 48-hour film project. The lead is great. We watched the outtakes. They clearly had a blast doing this movie.
Also, they do stuff throughout the entire credits.
Yeah, I did say that already.
Did you say that?
Yeah, I said that already. I said watch all the way through the credits and watch to the end.
Well, okay. No. There's a difference between watching all the way through the credits. You're right. That implies there's a stinger at the end.
You're right, which there is, but there's things all the way through the credits. Brief pauses in between. It starts off really good. The comedy's great. The trailer gives you a good tone.
What? Okay, so I pull up this movie on IMDb, and it says that stars including Barry Bostwick.
Not this movie.
No, I know.
Christina Klebe. I've partied with her from Rob Zombie's Halloween and a bunch of stuff.
She's not in this movie either.
No, you're in a totally different movie. April 2nd, 2011.
No,
what movie is this? Yeah, those people aren't in this movie. I looked on IMDb. That is not the cast list I got. You have scrolled.
I scrolled to the very bottom because sometimes they do
So trivia. I can't even see what you're scrolling right now?
I know. Hi, welcome to me watching you use your phone.
I'm a speed reader. What do you got? All right.
No, I was looking to see if there was trivia because sometimes
that's
IMDb
fine.
has trivia.
But I'm trying to figure out how you got that cast list.
It's at the very fucking bottom.
I know, but I'm trying to scroll because, like, did it change? Like, oh, another movie you might be interested in. This also says Iowa. I could have sworn I looked up the gun shop and it said Illinois, but I don't know my state things. So, related news stars Barry Bostwick. So that's going to talk about another movie. That makes more sense.
All right.
We are a big fan of the Barry Bostwick here, and Christina Klebe is fucking awesome. I partied with her.
Bell's review,
which we have and we haven't watched, and it's from Epic. We're not doing that here. But yeah, I partied with Christina Klebe, Mick Garris, and John Russo, my bro John Russo, a while back. You should know John Russo just from me telling you. He was my mentor from 11 on, and I talked to him the first time at 15 over the phone.
Brothers?
No, as one of the creators and co-writer of Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, that.
And a writer of some of the best books on independent filmmaking of my era. And I talked to him on the phone once when I was 15, and then when I was 21-ish, I actually got to go spend 6 weeks in Pittsburgh. We became close friends to the point where we moved past him and even being a mentor, and we're like equals, and he'll ask me for advice and help and like promoting stuff. And anyways, him and Russ Striner, awesome fucking dudes. I just wanted to brag that I partied with him and Christina Klebe and Mick Garris. Mick Garris did not drink or does not drink, and I feel a little bad because I was kind of cock blocking him a little. Not cock blocking him, that implies sexual. There was nothing sexual.
You were drunk and...
I was helping John Russo try to make some connections with Christina Klebe for film reasons. Anyways.
Let's stop thinking that whole shit.
Yeah, so Cadaver Christmas. My God. Well, I wasn't actually digging a hole. It just sounded like I was. And I'm like, I'm legit. Like, no, these are good people. But yeah, this was awesome. This was so much fun.
10 minutes of bloopers.
Which Mary loves.
I am a fan of the blooper.
And it was a tight 85 minutes on this, so that's really good. Even the sound for a film of this budgetary quality. I mean, obviously they dubbed a lot, but for the most part, the sound was excellent in this film, which is a real tell of the quality and craftsmanship.
And for a minute there, I thought like
the beginning was very dubbed.
It was the same person dubbing like all three people involved.
She did think that for a minute, yeah, and I could kind of understand it.
Well,
but
their voices weren't that different.
No, but I think that's just the characters. Also, the bartender guy, totally, I just kept thinking it's Bam Margera's dad, Phil, the whole time. If you see this movie, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, highly recommended. This might, well, I guess this is not the best of this month's horror pack, because, yeah, this is the last review in here, because Conjuring 2 is in here. And Z, which are, you know, like as horror films. Too, right? And Z. Only one I haven't seen is that Krampus one, Mother Krampus, which I may go watch after this.
Well, and this one.
Well, now I've seen this one.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey, wibbly wobbly. But yeah, no, this was great. If you want a really good time, a movie that knows it's a comedy, like don't think of it so much as a horror. It's a comedy set in a horror universe with horror elements. But I wouldn't say anything in here is actually scary or any like actual jump scares or tension.
No, there isn't.
Right, it's definitely full on camp.
I'm your barometer for that. And
yeah.
It's closer to Shaun of the Dead than...
Yeah, and maybe not quite that level of Edgar Wright-ness greatness, but I mean, this is a pretty good companion piece. Like, if you're gonna sit down with your bros or your friends or whatever, and you're gonna have a drunken movie night, and you wanna start off with like the real high end of like a Shaun of the Dead, this movie would fit in that marathon of even 2 or 3 movies, second, third movie. It would totally fit in there and be a great time, especially once you start getting a few drinks in, because it just really elevated the humor. And my God, though, and I don't wanna spoil the joke here, but Mary is right. There's this one joke that about killed us because the delivery of like the drunk character. And if you see this movie, we're just gonna say it's the bandana moment.
Yeah.
That was an inspired bit of performance in comedy. And apparently some of that was the performance was improv. Obviously the line, the concept of the line was on paper because you see some outtakes of them trying different versions of it. And it's like, oh yeah, no, the take they got is the brilliant take, and they're lucky they got that and used that because it just about killed us. And there's a few moments in here that legit just about, like I just crumpled over with laughter.
There, like, so if you just watched a preview for this, you're sitting here going like, oh, this is just a bad movie that is so bad it's good. But I honestly think somebody went and crafted this to be in that category.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Rather than accidentally doing it.
They knew they were trying to make a campy, silly movie. Right. I think that, too. And I got to give props to the trailer, because I think the trailer does a good job of giving you a hint of the tone of this movie, but doesn't oversell it. It might even slightly undersell it, but not in a way that would be a turn-off and don't check out this movie. It's like, if you watch the trailer, and the trailer you're like, okay, that might be good, you're going to have a good time with this movie. It's better than what the trailer shows, but not like so extremely where the trailer is so off, you know what I mean? But yeah, all right, oh my God, that's 13 minutes on this movie, but it's awesome. It's really great. So seriously, check it out. I'm so excited, and it's great after 3-4 months of Horror Pack exclusives that have been, to have a great one again. So
yep.
Hell yeah. Okay. Kitties! Wow, I can't believe Mary watched all 4 of those. I'm kidding, obviously. Especially the Conjurings. I think that would actually creep her out way too much. All right, so that's it. What did y'all think? Are you excited about these? Have you seen all these movies? Which one's your favorite? Do you like the Conjuring universe? You're excited for Conjuring 3? I am. Let me know. Geek out with me in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Other than that, you can click that thumbs up button. Give me that good old thumb of encouragement, as I do love to be encouraged. Click the join button. Check out patreon.com/TheEricButts. Check out our merch store, link in the description. Come on over to the Eric Butts Discord, and all that and more. We'd love to have you. We'd love to see you. It'll be fun to talk about some horror movies. Maybe you can turn me on to something I haven't heard about. I'm down for that. Especially if you're a filmmaker, if you're an indie person, you know, check out your stuff. Other than that, I guess that's it. I got a lot of movies to go watch, so I'm gonna get out of here and get to that. And I'll see you all later.